Hello and welcome back to my channel. So let us discuss about President Jacob Zuma leaving ANC and why people are abandoning their political party to support uMkhonto sizwe. But he's going to remain the long-serving member of ANC. He is not the only president in South Africa who came out publicly to announce that he's not going to vote or to campaign for ANC. Because we have one that announced around, if it's not May, June, July, saying he need to be convinced on why did he have to campaign for ANC. So meaning it's not only President Jacob Zuma who came out, but the other one also came out to announce why people are leaving their liberation movements. I'm going to compare why people are leaving their liberation movement and join this radical movement that are being formed now. Yeah, so I like to compare the political parties in Namibia. Yes, I'm a Namibian, and what is happening in South Africa. Because also here in Namibia, we have people that are moving toward these newly radical political parties that are emerging. So what is the reason behind why supporters and members of these political parties, they are moving away toward these newly political parties? Is there anything that makes these people to move away? And are they not aligning to the ideology of what they have been believing for so many years? We are going to find answers in this video of Jacob Zuma, why he is supporting uMkhonto sizwe, and the other former president also who came out to say they need to be convinced otherwise. Because they cannot just come out and tell us that they need to be convinced otherwise. And Jacob Zuma is, I am supporting MK and I am going to campaign for MK. So what is wrong with these parties? So what is wrong with them? So let us look at this video and we will come back with our commentaries. So watch.
Among the reasons why I taken this decision was that I realized this is not a country for. I need to see a South Africa that our ancestors envisaged to say this country will be free. There is no poverty. There is no problems. There is no criminality. All you have just told about how much this time things that there is no solution why are we not stopping criminality in our country. We pay tax for those who must do the job, and they must do the job.
We need to rescue the ANC and bring it back to the organization that we know, love, and trust. This requires drastic action. Before stating what that we're going to do to rescue and restore the real ANC vision, let me tabulate a few of the current pressing issues on which I base my distrust of the current ANC of Ramaphosa as a proxy of white monopoly capital, which must be distinguished from the real ANC. Firstly, the ANC kept quiet when the powers of the president were taken away in the appointment of the chair of the commission on the so-called state capture. This symbolized an opportunistic amendment of the Constitution of South Africa. Secondly, the ANC kept quiet when it became clear that the 2017 National Conference and the position of president had been stolen or bought by forces outside the organization for an amount of 300 million rand, which the president admitted under oath, found by the public protector in her Bosasa report in which Ramaphosa was fingered. Thirdly, the turning point for me was a misguided statement made by the ANC president that the ANC is accused, number one, for corruption in South Africa. Neither the leadership of the ANC and the NEC nor the membership at the most recent national conference saw the need to challenge or change that incorrect statement. Fourthly, the ANC expelled its Secretary General using the selective application of the so-called step-aside rule, but will now allow the president, who is also facing criminal charges, to top its list for the next election. Fifthly, the ANC stood idle when 400 black people were massacred in KwaZulu-Natal following the avoidable July 2021 unrest caused by the Constitutional Court and Mr. Raymond Zondo due to my imprisonment without trial under the ANC of Ramaphosa. Sixthly, the last straw was when, due to the public protector's 31 questions in the investigation of the Phala Phala scandal, she was suspended and then impeached by the ANC, DA, and Freedom Front working together. I have now been told that the ANC of Ramaphosa has decided to vote in favor of the impeachment of Judge President Thope and Judge Motata. The ANC of Ramaphosa has declared war against progressive black professionals and intellectuals.
We have heard the reason why the president does not want to campaign for ANC. He have put all his reason down and he want to remain the ANC member and he want to rescue the ANC from the ANC of Ramaphosa that is pushing toward the white monopoly capital. So Ramaphosa is pushing toward the white monopoly capital instead of being a black nationalist. While President Ramaphosa is regarded as a person who is more closer to the white monopoly capital. A brief history about President Jacob Zuma and what led him to abandon the ship. Let us look at the legacy of President Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma was trained as an intelligence of ANC and uMkhonto sizwe during the liberation struggle. And he spent most of his years outside, abroad, and later, when they gained independence, he came down to the country. He was deported back to rural area, specifically KwaZulu-Natal, where he was given a task to Nelson Mandela so that he can harmonize the situation or the conflict that was the conflict that was going around in KwaZulu-Natal, which was not good. So he was given that task to go and harmonize the conflict that was between the two tribes. He was later elected as ANC deputy president and the president of the country. And while he was serving under the leadership of Thabo Mbeki decided to fire him or to dismiss him on 14th of June 2005. So after he was dismissed and fired by Thabo Mbeki, he went back to rural areas where he started to strengthen the society about caring about themselves and to start fighting about the HIV and AIDS. After he was fired by President Thabo Mbeki, he went back and he started to mobilize again in campaigning. So he was fired because there was allegation that he involved in tax evasion, corruption, fraud. So Thabo Mbeki decided to fire him. So he made his comeback again, where he was elected to be the presidential candidate in the upcoming election. He received overwhelming majority, like most of the people, black and white, they have voted for Zuma. And again, in the midst of his first term as a president of South Africa, he was faced with a lot of cases, a lot of allegations that they were thrown toward him. These aviations of tax, fraud and corruption. And another thing again, there was allegation against him, allegation that was labeled against him to say he was more closer to Guptas, and he allows the Gupta family to be thrown into the military base, which is very, very sensitive, and they were not supposed to be thrown there. It means that the president was more closer, or he was giving more attention to the Gupta family. Instead of giving attention to Oppenheimer, he have no hands in this allegation that they labeled against him. So he was voted again for the second term, and with overwhelming majorities. The cases that were thrown against Zuma during his tenures, the first term and the second term, they were overwhelming. Upon the end of his term, the second term, so the NPA, they started to throw these allegations to open up cases that they were closed. We have another allegation of the state capture that was opened against him, and again he denied. And again the state capture, they did not find any guilty. They did not label him as he was, but they make him to be the bad face of the state capture. But the state capture, they failed to say Jacob Zuma is corrupt. And later, as they continue to bring up all these cases against him, in the middle of all these cases, Zuma this, Zuma that, the ANC, they started also to lose their seat in the municipalities. In the middle of all these things, the two opposition political parties, they have decided to bring a vote of no confidence against Zuma because of the cases that were labeled against him, they were overwhelming. But that vote of no confidence did not pass, so it failed. But later the ANC member, the top 6, and other imported people in the party, they started to say, no, guys, look, we should start to differentiate and defend the party instead of defending Jacob Zuma. And it's what they did. So in 2018, in February, they started to have this series of meetings against Jacob Zuma, convincing him to resign the country from the embarrassment that Jacob Zuma brought in. But again, Jacob Zuma continued to deny that I am innocent. I have nothing to do with whatever you people you are labeling me. At first he refused to resign, but as the pressure was coming so strong, later he gave in his resignations and he stepped down. The second day, Cyril Ramaphosa was inaugurated as the president who replaced Jacob Zuma. And after Jacob Zuma have stepped down, in more cases they started to come because now this man is at home. The state captures, they started to commission their hearings so that people, they can come in and give their takes. And President Jacob Zuma, he came in for the first time, and that was the last time, because he said, I am innocent, and you people, you did not find me guilty of the allegation that you have been alleged or labeled against me in this state capture. So I'm no more longer going to entertain you to say I will come in to the State Capture Commission to give or to help you to gain this information, or to say I must participate while I am innocent, or while you prove that I did nothing wrong. So I'm no more longer participating. And that make also the Constitutional Court to say, look now, your National Assembly, you failed to held accountable to this man. So we are going to sentence Jacob Zuma to 15 months of imprisonment. So later they decided to sentenced Jacob Zuma without going on trial, and he started serving his jail term in July, and in August he was taken to the hospital. And again, he was pardoned just during that time. He was pardoned. So this is what happened. So he remained out of spotlight. We only came to see him when Jacob Zuma was flown to, and the rest is the history. And when now the ANC and other political parties, they were started to gain that momentum to start campaigning for the next election, where one president came out and say, I need to be convinced on why do I have to vote for ANC. It's my party, but I'm not going to campaign for them. I need someone to come and convince me otherwise. Or why should I have to vote or campaign for a party that is led by criminals and thugs? And maybe Jacob Zuma was just watching and said, and maybe Jacob Zuma was also listening very well and started to contemplate also if he need to come out and announce the same way the other one announced, or he's going to remain in ANC, not campaigning, not even voting for the ANC. So after a while, Jacob Zuma maybe find a home. Yeah, and this is how now Jacob Zuma came out and announced that, hey, I got a party that I'm going to campaign for, because the other one also came out and said, I need to be convinced. But lucky me, I got a home. I have got this new party that is aligning with my ideology of black nationalism. So I'm going to campaign for uMkhonto sizwe, but I will remain the loyal member of ANC. So that was his word. Now this news or this announcement did not sit well with the ANC members. Everyone, they started to talk about Jacob Zuma. Yeah, and that is how now the uMkhonto sizwe MK party come to spotlight so strongly. So the MK came to spotlight because of President Jacob Zuma came out. Yeah, I'm going to rally behind you guys. You have my support, but I'm not your member. I'm still a member of ANC, so I'm just giving you my support and my blessing to go ahead. But this one did not sit well with most of the leaders in ANC, including those one also who came out to announce that they are not going to a campaign, including those one who were shutting down the party, or those one who wanted to leave the party because the party was sinking, but now they gained some strength to say, you are wrong, but they did it, but maybe because they were not condemned. So you are wrong, Jacob Zuma, to come out and say you are supporting uMkhonto sizwe. Now we have the answer that I posted at the beginning of this video. I said, why are the people leaving their old parties and go and join these newly formed radical movements that are being formed and led by young people? I think now we have the understanding and the reason why, and the answer on why President Jacob Zuma abandoned ANC and moved this side. Is it not that the infighting that were brought, labeled against this man, are they not too much? Yeah, where he was even jailed without being taken for trial. Right? I think the infighting within the parties, they are the ones that are making people to go out, to move out, abandon the ship. because the governance of the people that are leading these parties, they don't want to accommodate others. So, and the ideology that they have at the initial of this foundation of their parties is no more longer aligning to the situation of today. Things have changed. Yeah, so I made a video of how Karel came out and called out names. And he said the ANC is no longer a party that was at the beginning. They have changed. They have moved to white monopoly capital. And the ANC is not a party for blacks. It's a party for non-racial that is serving the white monopoly capital. A party that is not serving the black people. But we know that the black people, they are the ones that are suffering most. Black people, they are the ones that are suffering most. Let me pose this question and I'll answer myself again. Why did the ANC panic when Jacob Zuma announced that he is no more longer going to campaign for ANC in this coming election? But they did not panic when President announced this. The answer is very simple. The answer is very simple. This is the president who won most of the majority votes in the national election. Yeah, so meaning these men have a fan-based, loyal people that are following him. So that's why when he announced the ANC, they started to panic, but they don't want to condemn the other one. So that is the reason. So this one is just to tell us that the old parties, they must stop their infighting, because as soon as they realize that leaders are different when it's come to fan base and when it's come to loyal and being patriotic to their parties. So these things are very different. You might have a leader who is not liked by people, but as long as they use a certain leader to campaign for that party, people are coming, because as long as we have Jacob Zuma on the cards, no problem. But when he announced, everyone is panicking, people are talking things that they were not also supposed to come in the public. This information, they came out because they started to panic. And it's just to tell us that are observing, to say, look, these people are panicking. As I encourage people to go out and campaign for their parties, regardless of which party do you belong, just go out and campaign for your party. Because now we have seen these things, that if you chased someone who is more likable to people, if you chase these people out, they are going to go with their majorities. And now as we are speaking, people are not even looking at maybe ANC is going to win or DA is going to win. People are talking of a coalition, because there is no a party that is going to get 50% in South Africa as we are talking. There is no a party that is going to gain votes by 50% in South Africa. Why? So MK took some votes. DA also, they get so DA maybe they also gain they gain some new membership from ANC. EFF also, they gain some member, and uMkhonto sizwe again. He took majority of supporters from ANC. So that's why people are talking of coalition, because there is no a party that is going to get votes above 50%. And this is the same sentiment that I'm echoing to the Namibian. You don't chase people in the party because they started to disagree with a certain person, or because when people are not aligning with your ideology, this name calling, they are unnecessary. Now I'm in Namibia now. The name calling, when it's come to these political parties, they are unnecessary, because once you chased one person, these people, they are going with their families, they are going with their fans, people who likes them. They are following those people. And that's how now we find ourselves in this situation where now we are panicking to everything that is coming out. Panicking because of these little things. But we forget that we are the cause of this problem. You don't chase people out. Yeah, most of the time, these parties, they find themselves in this dilemma because most of the members or the supporters, their vote maybe is because we see these activists that are campaigning so hard for the party. And these activists, once they did little mistake, that they were supposed to be called for, sit down and put them to order, they are being chased out. So we don't chase people who are standing in front of people, convincing people to join, convincing people to speak out. We don't chase activists, leaders that are standing in front of people, because these people, they have their followers. Yeah, so the party can be there, but it depends to the leader who is coming. If it's that leader is favored by people, obviously people, they will come. But as soon as or as long as we are continuing to subjecting other leaders and push them to the wall, so this is how people are gaining their supporters, because they are going to sympathize with this person, and also maybe to teach a lesson to this party that feel like they're untouchable. So this is just one of my take from this situation on why people are leaving their party and join these newly emerged parties that are coming in. And these things are going to play out to see if black people, because they are the majorities, are they for non-black nationalism, or they are for non-racial parties, or they are for white monopoly capital. But remember guys, we are mixed economy. We are mixed economy. On this side, we are socialist, and on this side, we are capitalist. So we must not forget about that. Yeah, we are going to continue watching how these things are going to play out or to unfold themselves, but the best men win in this coming election. So we are watching. So if you have watched up to this far, consider yourself subscribing to the channel, turn on your notification so that you can be notified whenever I upload a video. Like the video, share the video to your loved one, and see you on my next one. Bye bye and bye.